The Boston Celtics preseason game is 4 days away against the Philadelphia 76ers on Sunday. So if you are excited for some Celtics basketball, I need you to like this video for me, because the more likes this video gets, the more wins the Celtics have this season. A burning question in the Boston Celtics arena is whether or not there is enough depth at that big man position since they traded away Robert Williams, since they traded away Malcolm Brogdon to get Jrue Holiday. So since this trade did happen, today we are going to look at 5 free agents at the big man position the Celtics could possibly sign for this season. And of course, we're going to start off with number 1, Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard used to be a phenomenal basketball player, and yes, I'm going to throw the word used to out there. He is now currently playing in Taiwan, but of course, many years ago, he was an all-star caliber type of player. But do we actually want him on the Boston Celtics this year? Well, when we look at his player card, he played this past season with the T1 League, which is down in Taiwan. He was the MVP of this league, defensive first team, and the most valuable import. And he suffered a knee injury and played mostly at home. So when you look at Dwight Howard, obviously he's popping off in this league because everybody does once their NBA league is over. They go play overseas and they just dominate. Do we actually want him on the Celtics? I'm going to go with a big fat no, because when you look at this guy, he's 37 years old. You look at his stats from the past 4 years, and he's obviously averaging 23 points per game in Taiwan. But before that, in America, in the NBA, he was averaging 6 points, 7 points, and 7.5. And this was a long time ago. When you look at 2019, that was probably his best year. He's not going to be that same player if he does come back to the Celtics. And honestly, I would just rather go younger. I don't think the Celtics need to get any older. I think Al Horford, we all love you, Big Al, but I don't think we should go any higher than 37 years old. But if the Celtics did want to acquire Dwight Howard, I understand why. Because in terms of skill set, yes, he actually does fit the mold for what the Celtics do need. He's a great rim protector. He's a great rebounder. So I would understand if Brad Stevens did pick him up. But this is not my favorite option, to be honest, guys. What do you guys think? Do you think we should actually sign Dwight Howard this year? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I'm going with no. I think that we should either wait to the trade deadline to get somebody better. And honestly, I'd rather give the younger guys on our bench some exposure before we signed Dwight Howard. But that's just me. A player that I would actually not mind seeing in a Celtics uniform is Bismack Biyombo. I actually am a pretty big fan of this potential signing. I know that he recently played with the Brooklyn Nets. He's played with a few teams in the past few leagues, but when you look at his stats, this is kind of a Blake Griffin-esque stat line that you're asking for the Celtics. 4.3 points per game, 4.3 rebounds, 1.4 blocks, and a 57.8% field goal percentage. That is a phenomenal field goal percentage stat. I definitely get very Blake Griffin vibes when I look at this type of player. If he were to come to the Celtics, this is kind of what he would be doing for them. Because when you look at his career, he's already played in over 40 playoff games. He knows what that postseason is like. He's also second in the NBA with most games with 100% field goal percentage over the last 10 seasons. He has 112 games in his career with the most games with 100% field goal percentage. That is amazing. And the teams that he's played for, they've been contenders. The Phoenix Suns with Kevin Durant, the Brooklyn Nets, the Raptors, the Magic. So he truly does seem like he can fit the mold for a championship team. Biyombo has never been the best scorer, and that's fine. We're not asking to have another 20-point shooter on our team. We're asking for somebody to protect the rim, to be a rebounder, to dish out assists when it's needed, to just be a big man, because when you go up like somebody like Jokic, you got to have size. That's all we're asking in case Porzingis gets hurt. So I think he knows how to fill a void on that roster. And honestly, Smitty and I talked about this before the video even started, and this is Smitty's pick, and I'm going to be honest, this is my pick too. I think Bismack Biyombo is the best opportunity you're going to get at signing a potentially good roster spot at the big man position. But of course, we're going to unpack more of those options as we are coming up, because we have another former All-Star we want to bring to the table to see if you guys would like to sign him this year. But first, I'm going to talk to you guys about Prize Picks. I have been using this app every single day since Sunday. I have been doing it for MLB games, for NFL games, and you can even do it before the NBA season. All you have to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 players' projected stats, and you can win up to 25 times your money on any entry. 60 seconds or less. It's so easy to use. Like I said, I've been using it for the wild card games. I'm really into baseball once October hits, so I picked all pitchers for mine today. You can pick numerous categories, numerous players, but I did pick Aaron Nola more than 6 strikeouts, Jose more than 5 strikeouts, Sonny Gray less than 4.5, and these are just my picks, guys. You can make any picks that you want. All you have to do is go to prizepicks.com/CLNS, use code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100. The link and description are in the chat. Watch yourself win some money in real time. Nerlens Noel is the next player on our free agent big men list, and honestly, this is my least favorite option out of the 5 that we're going to present to you guys today. I think Nerlens Noel is just washed up. I think he's done. I think he is cooked. This is not the guy that we want on the Celtics. Not in the locker room, not on the court. I may be being a little bit harsh here, but when I look at Nerlens Noel's career throughout his time in the NBA, he has played 42 games in the last 2 seasons. This guy is just as injured as Kristaps Porzingis could be, as Al Horford could be, as Robert Williams has been. The last thing you want to do when you fill this big man spot is give it to somebody that could possibly also be on the injured list, along with those 2 players that we're trying to keep healthy. When you look at Nerlens Noel injuries over his career, and I'm talking about even just the past 2 years in his career, foot, knee, back, ankle, shoulder. I mean, this is the entire anatomy of the human. He has just completely done everything you possibly can. So when I look at all of these, this is too many. One of these things is going to pop if you put him on the floor with the Celtics. And if you're leaning on him to be able to take care of your injured players and come in when they can't play, he might be on the bench right next to him. I say no. I say absolutely no. Randy Jackson, it's a no from me, dog. I think his skill set does fit. Yes, he could be a rebounder for the Boston Celtics. But you know who else could be? Luke Cornett. You know who else could be? Anybody else on the Celtics roster that is currently there right now. No for me. Next, we are going to talk about Gorgui Deng. This player is not that bad of an option, honestly. But there is a reason why he's not on a team right now, because when you look at what he went through with the San Antonio Spurs earlier this year, waived from the Spurs in January. Then they signed him to a 10-day contract. After that was over, they're like, whatever, we'll keep you around. Signed him to another 10-day contract. Re-signed him in February. Kept him on the team until July. Of course, they got Wembanyama. They got all these players now. And they're like, sorry, we don't need you. So they waived him. There's a reason why they're so hot and cold on this guy. So I don't think he's the guy that you can rely on as much as the Celtics could possibly need. However, when you do look at his stats, on paper, he looks like this could possibly be a good fit for the Celtics because he averaged 3.5 rebounds per game in 11 minutes last season for the Spurs, which equates to over 10 rebounds per 36 minutes. It's no question this guy can clean the glass. Absolutely not. I think he would be great in that asset. He can definitely just understand his role as just somebody that wants to dish it out. He can space the floor if needed because all we're looking for is just somebody to be able to dish it out to the Jays and to be able to give them the ball. We're not looking for anybody to shoot lights out. That's not what we're looking for at all. He's been healthy most of his career, which is a big thing for somebody to pick up for the Celtics because if Porzingis is hurt and Horford is hurt, then we're going to have to rely on the free agent that we did sign for the big man position. But with that being said, we did leave a former All-Star to finish out our list, DeMarcus Cousins. Yes, we are talking about Boogie, even though nobody has talked about Boogies in a few years. If you can actually remember, I think the last time he was even relevant is when this interview came out with Jaren Jackson. When Boogie signed with the Warriors, it blew up on NBA Twitter. It just shook the entire Western Conference to the point where Jaren Jackson could not contain himself when he found out mid-interview this dominant man was with the Warriors. If you remember this interview, then you remember the last time DeMarcus Cousins was relevant in the NBA. He took a play out of Dwight Howard's playbook and said, "Peace out, NBA. I'm going to go play for another league. So now he is playing in Taiwan, and there have been rumors circulating since Boogie was actually playing in the league that he's just not a good fit in the locker room. He played with the Bucks in 2021, he played with the Nuggets in 2022, and now he's playing in Puerto Rico. Nobody on this team is going to want him in the locker room messing things up, especially with an ego like DeMarcus Cousins. It's because he's going to want to play more than he's supposed to. He's not going to be a role player, in my opinion. He's not going to be somebody that's going to say, hey, Porzingis is hurt, I need to step up. He's going to want to play over Porzingis. That's not what the Celtics need right now. And DeMarcus Cousins is crazy if he thinks he's going to be on any starting five in the NBA right now. However, he may be the best offensive weapon on this list in terms of rebounding. He can clean the glass, that is no question. But he's not a team player, and that is what you are going to need to help you get Banner 18. I think, last resort, you should sign DeMarcus Cousins. I would rather go to the trade deadline. I would rather lean on one of the younger guys that have been mentored by Al Horford, like Jordan Walsh, who's been spending all of his free time with Al Horford, rather than pick up a washed-up all-star that is now playing in Puerto Rico. But that's just me. What do you guys think? Name a big man you want to see the Celtics sign. I want you to name somebody before the season starts, or potentially towards the beginning of the season. Trade deadline is a totally different thing, even though I think that's how the Celtics are going to lean. But I personally think they should just lean on what they've got so far. Let somebody prove themselves, then take an action. But let me know, because we obviously want to hear from you guys. Every support that you give us matters to us. All the subscribers, all the likes, all the shares, all the comments, to the point where we have even want to give some of our subscribers shout outs because you've been so loyal to the show. Michael, Ty, Elias, Ben, B-Man is Cool Hill. I like your name. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. Continue to subscribe. If you subscribe, you can also be on the shout-out list sooner or later. Like this video, subscribe, and get ready for some Boston Celtics basketball.